All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at Extreme Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. Extreme Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. Extreme Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. Extremescoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. As I look into the chat, I see the chat is already blowing up here. I see Ken's in, the Bills are in the house, Chris Heinsoff, Earl's in, Jocelyn Elizabeth in the house. Welcome back to Jocelyn. Been a while since we've seen her on the show. Paul's in, and for those who may have missed previous shows, our archives are available for listening on demand through iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, and if you look back through those archives, you will find archives with Jocelyn on the show. Also, I know we've seen a few others come through. Pear's in. Obviously, Ken from Detectives. I'm sure he can drop the link to his page there in the chat. Actually, myself tonight, I'm sporting the new Relics Radio t-shirt. So, very cool of them to send out. Also, I see Suki's in the house, and welcome to the others who are joining us. Obviously, you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. Oh, we're here on Wednesdays, we're here on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, always 8 p.m. Eastern, or as close to it as we can get powers to be. Why? Because that's just when we decide to throw the switch around here. So, tonight, it's a little sketchy out of the gate. We're starting to experience some of those Skype difficulties that we've talked about in the past shows that, we could be starting to experience with some of the shows. It looks like, for the time being, we'll say that, for now anyway, we're holding our own with the calls. We seem to be doing okay. We seem to still have our call capability. So that's great news. Great to hear. The next show? Who knows? That's part of the adventure, right? We'll take it as we can get it. We'll deal with that bridge when we come to it. But tonight, everyone's been hearing about us talking about the upcoming guest. You've heard him over on Relics Radio. You've seen him over on Flash in Your Pan. There was a little issue with some technical difficulties that night. Unfortunately, and Ed had to kind of cut the show short. So, I guess in a sense we could kind of pick up where they left off there, or we can go off into a whole new direction. We'll see what's going on with it and see how that all goes. So, with all that being said, obviously everyone's seen the links all over Facebook. I was trying to get them dropped this afternoon, and tonight's guest is actually Quarter Hoarder from YouTube. A number of subscribers. Good grief, he's up over 20,000 subscribers, I believe, the last time I checked. Really great job with his videos and everything. He's got the Quarter Hoarder page on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that from him as we get into it. For those who don't know, though, I'll take the plunge. I'll try it. Hopefully I don't butcher it too bad, but I believe it's pronounced Jason Bazoffi. So, who knows? Maybe I butchered that better than your neighborhood butcher, but we'll find out. Either way, though, you've had to have seen his videos. If you haven't, check them out, and I'm sure we'll discuss more about his videos as we get into this as well. So let's just cut right to it and get him in here as well. How's it going, Jason?
Hey, what's going on, Josh? It's good to be here. I'm watching the chat. I see a lot of people I know, which is always cool. And you did a good job on my name. Next week, I'm legally changing it to Jason Hoarder. Why not?
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, good grief. That's got to be a little problematic for your mailman. Of course, then again, with a name like that, you know, how can you mistake it? He goes, oh, yeah, I know right where that mailbox is.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Like I said, I've been married 17 years and my wife still can't pronounce it. So, yeah, that's okay. No, we don't call each other by our last names anyway.
Right. There you go. I mean, and for a lot of the other ones, who knows? Maybe they just call you Quarter Hoarder.
A lot of people, it's funny, the company I work for, which is a huge company, like 100,000 people, and I've been there forever.
Wow.
For the longest time, I didn't tell anybody about my YouTube channel because it's kind of weird. It's kind of quirky. You know, I'm not like a 16-year-old kid. You know, I'm a grown man who's got a YouTube channel, so it's kind of weird. So I didn't tell anybody. You know what I mean? I just kind of kept it private. And then it started coming out of the bag only like maybe 6 months ago. So now everyone at work calls me Quarter Hoarder. But it kind of worked out. A lot of people watch the videos. A lot of coworkers will say, oh, you got to come to my house and detect it. And my Facebook, you know, my personal Facebook page, which was just family and people I knew in the real world because I had a Quarter Hoarder page.
Right. It seems like there's been a transition there somewhere where now Quarter Hoarder has moved to the Facebook page.
Well, that's what happened. What happened was I kept them different because I didn't want it to become, I wanted to kind of, you know, have my digging life and then my personal life.
Right. Absolutely.
Once a few people get a hold of your name and then they see, you know, other people see you have mutual friends, my personal page was just inundated with requests, and I like all these people. You know, I've been talking with them, chatting online forever, so they're like friends. So I started just bringing it over. I kind of abandoned the Quarter Hoarder page. So every once in a while, I'll log into my Facebook Quarter Hoarder page, and there's like 40 messages, and it's like they're like a month old. I feel really bad. But it's tricky. I saw Jocelyn in the chat. I don't know how she does it. She has like 3 pages on Facebook, and then your email and the chat. I don't know how you keep up with it all. It's hard. I
don't know. I mean, between her appearances, trying to juggle the videos, the emails, the messages, making plans for other hunts, the traveling. I don't know how she finds time to do anything.
I don't know. I don't know how she does it, but she's a saint. Somehow maybe she has a personal assistant, because I have trouble and I only do one a week.
Right, yeah. I mean, if that's how she's doing it, she may want to kind of tip you in there. You may be in the market for one.
But and look, Chris Heimel says she's young. That's true. When you're young, you can do all that stuff. As you get older, you start to forget things, and it's hard. But yeah, she's good people. And you alluded to the Flash in Your Pan show I was on. We were having a good old time, and then that Skype call, man, that Skype, I'm not real familiar with Skype, but apparently it's easily hackable. So you said you were having some problems with Skype yourself?
Well, nothing along that line, though. We're just dealing with a little software support.
Oh, okay.
And actually, yeah, I was watching Flash in the Pan when you were on there that night, and I've been doing this a little while myself, and I have never seen that happen.
Yeah, that was. I felt really bad for Ed, and because I know Ed shows go long, and hey, I'm a talker. I'll talk for 7 hours. I don't care.
Oh, well, see now, because recently I was on Relics Radio myself, and Loy and Jeff both told me, said, well, you're going to have to work with him because he needs to talk more and he needs to be more animated. You got to get him moving.
You know what it is I think somewhere deep in my psyche, I hate silence. It just drives me nuts. So I'm always talking. I always have something to say because silence is boring. So I do.
Right.
I talk. In my regular everyday 9 to 5 work job, I hardly say anything. So I think I build it all up. So when I'm free, everything just flows out. So,
yeah, see, I was kind of wondering about that. Is it like two different people, maybe the Jason at work and in normal life compared to the Jason that we see on YouTube and hear about on the shows and stuff? It's almost like it's two completely different people then.
It's definitely not the same. You gotta sort of change with your environment. The job I work on, it's a professional medical industry. And so I have to kind of reel it in. But I mean, I've been there since I was a kid. I've been there 25 years at this job, way more than half my life. So
wow.
I know everybody. And so, I mean, I'm very comfortable there. So when I do come in, a lot of the buildings I go to, they make fun and say oh, here comes the whirlwind. Because I try to breathe a little life into it. I try to breathe some life into the air. But I definitely tone it back to not as animated as the YouTube the YouTube stuff.
Right.
And even the YouTube stuff, that took a while. It's a shame. When I first started doing it, the YouTube, for the first year and a half, the camera never panned to myself. It was always looking at the ground, looking at the finds. That was it. Because I was kind of shy. It was new. And a few years ago, I deleted a whole bunch of my early videos, and I wish I didn't because they're gone now, just because it's fun to see how you used to do things and then how you progress to what you want it to be.
Well, yeah, you can go back and see your, the way back videos and then see the videos you've done recently and see the evolution and know that you've progressed.
I wish I didn't delete them. It was a shame. It was a mistake. Like I said, I deleted them all. And now, whether you like my channel or my videos or not, it doesn't matter. I like the way I present each video. And that's all that matters is you like it. You can't try to please everybody out there. You do it the way you like it. And then if other people like it, they'll tune in. They'll watch. You've got to just be true to yourself.
Absolutely, I would agree. I mean, with the amount of subscribers that you have, you've certainly had to have seen yourself. There's no way possible that you're going to keep everyone happy. Someone's going to have a complaint. Someone's going to click the thumbs down. Someone's going to leave a nasty comment. Yeah,
absolutely. Anything you do on the internet, there's no avoiding nasty comments or some sort of negativity, I just completely ignore it. I just, even if you respond with anything, it eggs people on to come back for more. So I do get some. I don't get a ton. Now that I said that, I'm sure tomorrow's video I'm going to get a ton. But
well, let's hope not.
I just ignore it, and I'm pretty easy to get along with. You know, if you comment, I try to respond to every single person, and that's a hard task in itself to reply to every comment. But I really try. It might take me 2-3 days, but I try because I try to. You know, if you're going to take the time to watch my video and leave a comment, I try to at least give you a thank you, or if you say something specific, I try to answer everybody. And I think that's important, but it was a lot easier to do when the channel was smaller than it is now, because, you know, you might get videos with 500, 1,000 comments, and to reply to each person, it's very time consuming. But
right, that's a full-time job in its own.
It takes a while. Now, I mean, luckily for me, I'm a night owl. I'm up till 2, 3 in the morning every night. And my wife and kids are in bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that's usually when I sit down, I edit videos, I do my comments, because that's kind of like my hobby. You know, that's what I like to do. And, you know, for me, metal detecting is both things. Like, I can't imagine metal detecting and not pulling my camera out. To me, both hobbies together are what I like to do. So I wouldn't make a video of me walking down the street just vlogging, but if I'm metal detecting, the two together, for me, just make a match that I just really enjoy. And so that's what I do. I try to put one video out every week, 52 weeks a year. I go out in the snow, in the rain. I don't care. And because that's my little getaway from reality for one day a week.
Right, absolutely. But to be able to do that on a consistent basis like that, because it's, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you try to hit it every Friday?
Well, my video comes out every Thursday. I usually go detecting one of the 2 weekend days, because during the week, you know, I work every day and I coach both my sons' basketball teams. So during the week is very tough. Once in a while, I can sneak out for an hour or two after work, but I usually save it for the weekend. And me and there's, you know, one of maybe 4 or 5 people, or all of them, we'll go out either Saturday or Sunday, and we go out. It's all day. I mean, we'll start at maybe 8:30 in the morning, and we're there till dark, which in the summer can be 12, 13 hours sometimes.
Right. But to do that on a consistent basis like that every week, that's got to be a task in its own sometimes, to just, you know, have that content ready or
it can
find
be
that
challenging.
content.
Well, what I did luckily was I told my wife, because what I used to do is I would go out on the weekend, and if it was a Sunday, you know, if I went out all day Sunday, I'd want to get the video out on Thursday. And it's very stressful when you have a deadline like that, or at least I made it stressful for myself. So I wasn't happy with the scenario. So I told my wife, I said, look, I got 5 weeks vacation from work. I'm going to take a week's vacation, and I'm just going to go dig Monday through Friday while the kids are in school and she's at work, because I want to have a few videos in the bag.
Nice.
And that was about maybe a year ago. So ever since then, now my videos, when they come out on Thursday, that video happened probably like 3 weeks ago when I actually was doing it, but it really takes the pressure off, because when I had that pressure, it wasn't fun. And if it's not fun, you know, why am I doing it? You know, I'm certainly not getting rich off doing it. I do it because I enjoy it. So once I was able to get a few in the bag, and luckily I'm still to this day, I'm 3 ahead, it makes it fun because there's no pressure. I just go out with friends, people that in the real world I really get along with. My longtime digging partner, the Nickel Nibbler, a guy, Doug, who I met through my YouTube channel just a few months ago, I get along with really well. So I'm with him every weekend now. And then there's a guy in the chat, Leroy, who I met through my channel also. I really got along with him. So he goes whenever he can. He lives kind of far, but he takes the drive sometimes. Jocelyn and Drew, I get along with them. So you surround yourself with people that you really, you know, get along with and enjoy, and it just makes it fun. So it's hard not to have a fun video when you're with people that you enjoy being with.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And when you started doing this, where you're like, hey, this is just too stressful this way. I need to rearrange things here. I need to come up with a different game plan. Once that, the pressure was off, did you happen to notice maybe a change in the way you were editing your videos? Because now the pressure's off, you're having more fun with it and going, hey, let's try this, let's do that.
Yeah, it definitely does, because I have more time to work on it. So I can have a lot more fun. It's a lot more easygoing. You know, I put it on myself where I wanted to get a video out every week. So if I go out on a Sunday, and sometimes, you know, I'm a door knocker. That's what I do. I go to a new house every weekend, knock on doors, get a permission. So normally I find a lot of stuff because they're virgin ground house sites, and you find a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I'm not a picky digger. It doesn't need to be a 300-year-old silver coin for me to be happy. It can be a kid's toy car from the 40s, or maybe a pin, or all sorts of things. I mean, the things we find are endless. It doesn't take much to get me excited. Just something maybe I've never seen before. So what I think of as treasure, maybe other people don't, but I still get really excited of just finding weird, oddball things. And I feature them, where when I first started off, I felt like, oh, man, I didn't find any silver coins. I only found 2 wheat pennies. This video is going to stink.
Right, I've got nothing to post.
Right, nothing to post. But you know what? When you ease back on what you think is a treasure, it makes it a little easier. I mean, I still show my videos if I find copper square nails, because when I get home, I enjoy them. I have a bucket that I keep all my copper square nails in because they look cool and they clean up and they have a patina to them. I'm not saying it's a great treasure, but I'm saying I even enjoy those. So it makes it easier because I find, like, you know what? I'll find enough to make a video because I'm easily amused by my finds.
Well, and I think too, another thing that really kind of makes your channel so entertaining is because of the pressure's not there. Sure, you want to find something old, but you're excited with a lot of the stuff that you find, and you find such a wide variety.
Yeah, and that, I think that comes down to like I said, when you door knock a new spot every single week, it's not always virgin ground, but most of the time it is. A lot of people are very hesitant about door knocking. That's the number one email and comment that I get is, you know, what can I do? How can I knock on doors? I'm really intimidated by it. And I was the same way when I first started. But for me, I don't think I could go to a public park because I like finding where you go to a house and almost every signal could potentially be good. It's very little trash because most people take pride in their yards, and you can see when you roll up.
That's right.
So they're going to clean up a lot of pull tabs and beer tabs and things like that. So you're not going to dig as much trash as you would at a park. So I dig every high tone, and I'll dig almost every mid tone. And when you dig, 200-300 holes in a 12-hour day, the odds are with you that you're going to find a couple of cool things.
Right. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's my strategy in a nutshell. I'm no master detectorist, but it comes down to volume. If you go to a spot with 300 good sounding targets and you dig all 300 of them, you're going to get 20 or so that are pretty interesting. And that would go for anybody.
Yeah, you do have a point there. So for those wondering then, because like you said, door knocking is, for some people, that's just not their thing. They can't seem to take that step, so to speak. What got you to break through your wall for it?
Well, that's actually a good question. And I'm probably in the same boat everybody else is. When I got my first good detector, which was probably like 6 years ago, I did like everyone else did that first starts, detecting. I did my house first in my own yard. I did my mother's house, which was a little older. I went to the local park, and then I was like, well, darn it, where am I going to go next? I'm not finding old stuff.
Right, I'm out of spots to hunt.
I'm out of spots. And a lot of people, they get to that point, and then the detector sits in a closet and collects dust, and they take themselves out of the hobby. But I was really into it. I was really motivated. And especially back then, I was not the type of person that would go up to a stranger and knock on their door. That wasn't me. But I sort of forced myself. I sort of said, look, if you really want to do this hobby, this is your option. Because I wanted to find old stuff. And I didn't find a lot of old stuff at the park because the parks aren't that old around here. And if they were, a lot of fill dirt comes in. So I sort of said to myself, look, if you really want to do this, you're going to have to bite the bullet and go knock on some doors. The very first knock I did, if you even want to consider it a knock, was a really old church a couple towns over from me. I knew the church went back to like the 1850s. And I don't know all the rules on churches, whether or not you're allowed to go there or not. But wherever I go, I like to make sure I have permission. I just think it's courteous.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's always better to be on the safe side. Better to ask permission than forgiveness.
Right. And that's just, that's how I do it. So I had no idea who was in charge. I had no idea what religion it was. I went to the church on a Sunday at like 10:30. And I said, I'm just going to sit in this parking lot until Mass is over and I see everyone come out, and then I'll go in. And I even put on a nice polo shirt and some slacks. I wanted to look good. And I sat in that parking lot for probably almost 2 hours because I had no idea what time the church got done. And when all the parishioners came out, I went in. I asked who the pastor was, and I talked to the guy, and I was probably sweating. It felt like I was sweating. I don't know. I was so nervous.
Right, the pressure's on.
It was. I didn't know if the guy was going to say, well, do you go to church here? I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
But the guy was so nice. Within 5 minutes, somehow the words came out of my mouth of, can I metal detect around here? Whatever I even said. I didn't even have a spiel back then. And the guy was so nice. He not only told me I had permission, but he actually walked me around the grounds of the church. He pointed out where an old schoolhouse used to be. He took me in the basement of the church and showed me the original pews from the 1800s that they had stored down there. And it was such a good experience that I think it sort of took the sticker shock away from me for doing it to the next one. And then I just started rolling with it. And, my first no was a bit of a damper. My first no, I was in a neighborhood. I knocked on a house, and there was a bunch of old houses there. The person told me no. They were polite about it, but they told me no. And I was so discouraged, I got in my car and I went home instead of knocking on the next house.
Right. Oh, that's it. The day's done.
Yeah, the first no, you take it personally, and it hits you in the stomach.
It is rough, yeah.
It is, because you take it personally. And I try to think, if somebody came to my house and knocked on my door and asked if they could walk around my entire property and do whatever, I'd probably say no, or at least I'd be skeptical. So, and I think that's why I talk so much. When I knock on a door, I really talk to that homeowner, and I ask questions, I listen. I want them to feel as comfortable as they can with a total stranger, because I'm going to be walking around their house, front yard, backyard, side yard, near their sheds, all over the place.
Right, carrying a big knife, playing with their kids.
And a lot of people that door knock, if the homeowner comes out, you have a secret pocket where you hide your finds. And I said, I'm not going to do that. And I've never once had a homeowner take anything from me, never. I've had a few times where the homeowner asked me for something. And now when a homeowner asks me for something, I even say, well, look, you can have it. If it means a lot to you, you can have it. I've got too much stuff as it is. I said, all I ask is, do you mind if I bring it home and clean it up? Because I like to photograph things for my own little scrapbook, and I'll bring it back to you next week. And every person said yes. I've never had to give up anything because the homeowner took it. So if I dig something, I don't care what it is, and the homeowner comes outside, whenever I see him come out, my headphones go down, I put the machine down, I walk over and I show him what I got, and I'm excited about it. And I think they can sort of see why I'm there. I try to relay that I'm there because I just really enjoy it. I'm not there to pillage your yard of valuables. I'm there to find stuff that's going to look dirty, it's going to be broken and mangled, but that's what I like to find, and I try to relay that in whatever way I can. I try to look at their body language. I might have to word it different depending on the person, but I try to relay it so they understand why I'm there. And it's worked for me so far. Like I said, I've had no bad experiences ever knocking on a door.
Well, and I'm sure that after some of these homeowners or even some of the coworkers, if you've went and hunted their yard too, I'm sure once they have had a little bit of experience with you, see the way you conduct yourself on their property, how you're filling everything back in and taking care of things, that's even opened other doors for you, most likely.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I really try to include the homeowner. A lot of my videos, I get the homeowner out with me. I always carry an extra machine in my trunk, and I'll try to get the homeowner out with me, and I'll record him with me. A lot of videos have a stranger, or if the homeowner has kids love it. They all come out with me. A lot of times I end up babysitting the kids because they're outside with me so long, but I don't care. I hand them a pinpointer if they're little, and they'll just pinpoint in the hole for me. I try to include them because it really makes it a lot of ease in case I want to go back, or in case I want to do a neighbor, now I can drop their name. So I try to make it an encompassing thing where I include them in it. And it might sound goofy, but it really works for me. And maybe it's part of my personality too. Not everyone might be as talkative and bubbly as I might be, but it works for me. And like I said, I've probably knocked on hundreds of doors, never had a bad experience. I've gotten some no's once in a while, but I don't consider that a bad experience. I've even gotten kicked out a couple times after I got a yes, but even those experiences weren't bad. They came out, a couple of people would say like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be digging holes, which I always think is really bizarre. Say, okay.
Right, how do we get it out of the ground?
One time last year, Kyle and I knocked on this door. We were detecting for about maybe an hour, and we were hungry, so I ordered a pizza. I do that a lot. I order a pizza, and I have it delivered. I don't have it delivered to the house. I tell the pizza place, I said, look, I'm doing work in the neighborhood. Here's my car license plate. I'll meet you at my car because I don't want to go knock on the homeowner's door. And then I'll eat it in the car, and then we'll go back out. So I ordered a pizza, and like 5 minutes later, the homeowner came out and said, oh, I didn't know you were digging holes here. I want you guys to stop. And I told the guy, I said, look, I'll stop, no problem. But I said, I just ordered a pizza. Would you mind if I hang around here for a little bit? And he's like, yeah. So, we started talking with the homeowner. The pizzas arrived. I shared the pizza with him, hoping I'd be able to get that yes again, but I didn't.
Oh.
So, even a bad experience, I try to make it positive because, like I said, not everybody wants you to maybe dig in their yard or whatever their scenario. I totally get it. That's a tough thing.
Right. Well, and when you're talking to these people, trying to get these permissions from the door knocks and the such, I'm sure you're probably very careful about the way you word things. Like, I'm sure you don't necessarily say, oh yeah, we're going to go out and dig big craters. You probably, we cut a plug and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to say, that's exactly what I do. Yeah, I try to, I usually don't say cut a plug. I try to use metal detecting lingo because they won't know what that means, and I don't want them to think I'm fast talking them. But I try to tell them what I'm going to do, and I explain to them that the yard's going to be flawless. They won't notice anything. I really talk. What's funny is a week or two ago, I was down in Missouri digging with Plugmaster Ford. I don't know if you know Plugmaster Ford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went down there, and Plugmaster, we went out door knocking one day, and he went to the first house. And I said, all right, I'll wait in the truck because I don't like door knocking when everyone rushes the door. I think it's intimidating. So he went to the door. I said, I'll wait in the truck. And he was back in 30 seconds with a yes. And I was amazed. I said, that's crazy. I said, I'm at the door for at least 20 minutes. I know where they went to school. I know their maiden name. I know how many kids. I know the name of their cat. They probably walked me inside, and I'm looking at family pictures. I try to find something to relate the two of us. Like, it's a whole ordeal. And not that I hate doing that. I enjoy it because it builds that temporary friendship that makes them comfortable with me.
Right, that
but
connection.
It's just weird. We both got to the same result, which is a yes, but his was 30 seconds where mine is 20 minutes.
Right.
And that's it. Like Chris Heimshoff just put a link to Plugmaster's video in your chat. I'm sort of watching the chat as I talk. But it was a fun time. But it just goes to show there's no right way or wrong way to get the permission. You just do what you're comfortable with doing. And I don't even know what Plugmaster Ford said because I was in the trunk. Not in the trunk, in the truck.
Well, it couldn't have been too much. It couldn't have been too much. It only took him 30 seconds.
I only had 2 sips of my coffee. He was back. I thought for sure, like, they slammed the door in his face.
Right, yep, that's a big fat no.
Right. So it just goes to say there's no right way or wrong way. And whenever someone asks me, I tell them, when they ask me, like, how do you get all these houses? What do you do? I said, I wish there was a secret. I wish I told you. I wish there was a secret on what to say or what to wear. I said, it's really not. I say, maybe it comes down to personality. Some people aren't talkers. Maybe you don't smile. Maybe you don't make eye contact. So your first couple are going to be a bumpy road. But I really just go up. I tell them what I want to do. But I add to it by trying to, like I said, build a temporary friendship. And some of those friendships really lasted. There's some houses I've knocked on 2 years ago that I still talk to that homeowner. There's some homeowners I've detected their house that are now subscribed to my channel and comment on my videos.
Nice.
So, yeah, you never know. So, why not talk to them? It can only open up doors. And I say it too when I'm actually at a house detecting, especially when you're in the front yard. When I first started doing it, and I see a lot of detectorists do it, when you're detecting, you can feel when someone's looking at you. In anything you're doing in life, you can feel when someone's staring at you. It's like a sixth sense that we have. And when I first started, if I felt someone was looking at me, I look at the ground, I pretend that I don't see them. If they call me, I pretend I can't hear them because the headphones are on, because you sort of don't want to be bothered. You might not want to get involved, or maybe you just don't want to take 5 minutes because you're detecting. But I do the exact opposite now, where if I'm detecting and I feel someone staring at me, maybe walking by with their dog or driving their bike or a neighbor, as soon as I feel it, my headphones go down and I walk right over to them. I smile, I'll show them my finds, because that only can open more doors. Oh, where do you live? Oh, no kidding. How old's your house? And I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many permissions I got because they see, oh, he's detecting Bob's house. He can't be that bad. Yeah, I live right over here. Do you mind if I watch you for a few minutes? And it just snowballs. And when you can knock on someone's door and get permission, you never run out of spots. And when you never run out of spots, the hobby doesn't get boring.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I gotta take a breath now. Hold on. That's a lot of talking.
Yes, it is.
But that's that's my there's my channel basically in a nutshell. That's what I do, and I love it. I still get excited. We try to knock during the week and line something up for the weekend. I try not to leave it to chance on the weekend, because sometimes people aren't home, and I hate to waste an hour or two, driving around. So we go out during the week and we line up a spot. We lined up our spot for this weekend today. So we're set to go on Saturday. We have another 1700s mansion, which I've been doing a lot of recently.
Wow.
I've done like 5 of them in the last 2 months. This was a huge mansion. I didn't get this permission. My digging buddy Doug got it. But he told me there's like 11 bedrooms, there's outbuildings, a huge barn, all sorts of things. And we just did one last weekend similar. So, how can you not get excited when you're going to have a mansion that goes back, 250, 300 years?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And when you're going out and you're, like you said, you line the permissions up during the week for the coming weekend, I guess we'll say, do you find that maybe certain times of the day work a little better for you than others as far as approaching these people for permission, like maybe late evening, early afternoon?
Well, during the week I work, so the best time is whenever I have time. My strategy is I don't do a ton of research, and I know, and I'm certainly not knocking research, because that is, there's nothing that beats that. My research starts and ends with, where's the old part of town? And I'll go to the old part of town, and I just look for cars and driveways. Ideally, I like the corner lots because the yards are typically bigger. So I always try to go to those first. If there's a car in the driveway and it's a decent-sized yard, I'm knocking on the door. And that's what I do, because like I said, I'm working 9 to 5, so I can only get there, afterwards. Luckily, Doug, who's my new digging partner, he gets done work at 2 o'clock. So he has a few more hours of daylight. So he's been getting a lot of these permissions too. And,
Right.
and it does. It just works out really well. If there's a car, I pull over and, I knock on the door. And I, like I said, I don't really have a written down spiel that I recite, but there's certain key points I like to hit. And I try to read the body language of the homeowner as soon as they come to the door. I find that really young people and really, I don't want to say really old, but older people are the easiest and the friendliest. It's the middle-aged people, like people my age.
Right, they're grumpy.
I got to work more towards them. They're more skeptical. But maybe older people can kind of relate to older times when you're willing to meet new people. And younger people haven't lived long enough to know that, hey, some strangers are dangerous. It's that middle-aged people.
Right.
If you're like 30 to 50, those are the ones that I find are more skeptical. And that's fine, And like I said, I'd say probably, I wouldn't be lying if I said 95% of the houses we knock on are yes. It's that high of a percentage. It's surprising. You'd think you'd get more no's, but you really don't. Or at least we don't.
Not really though, because I mean, you see your videos and stuff. You're very you're clean cut. You have a very personable character about you, and I'm sure that after the first few knocks or whatever, you really became able to read people quite easy as far as their body language and things like that, to where it became easier for you. So I imagine the rate of yeses to nos would be very high for you.
It is high, and Doug is the same way. He's very personable, so he gets a lot of yeses. Now the Nibbler, who has been my longtime digging partner, he's very introverted. He's very shy. He doesn't talk a whole lot. If you ask him any question you can think of, he'll probably answer you in 1 or 2 words or less. That's his personality.
Right.
Great guy, but not a good door knocker, and he'll admit it. And I even joke with him. I'll be like, Kyle, I'm going to go knock on the door. Don't even let him see you. Go hide over there. Because he's a little awkward in those scenarios.
Right.
But I mean, everyone's different. You know what I mean? And he brings his own strengths to the game. Kyle he's a really smart guy. He's a doctor in real life, real smart dude. And, I can give Kyle just somebody's name, and within a half an hour, he can tell me the history of their house, who owned it, every homeowner, when the deeds changed. He's really good at that end of it. So he certainly, he certainly helps us out a lot.
Yeah, he brings his share to the table too, the way it sounds.
He does. We all sort of chip in. So it's a good little team. We all sort of bring something, and we all get along. I mean, you can't beat that.
Right. Well, and like you said, some people, door knocking isn't their thing, but for those that it's not their thing, if they can find some buddies that they are good at it, hey, there you go. Make it teamwork.
It is. And I'll tell you, the only thing you gotta do is you gotta be careful about that. I've had in the past, people that I've met, whether it was in forums or on chats or whatnot, do you want to get together? Sure. And I'll knock on the door and I'll line something up, and the next week I'll do it again. But after like 4 or 5 weeks, if they're not bringing something to the table, even if it's good conversation, it's tricky. You want to do something. Even, like I said, if you're not a door knocker and you're never going to get a site, that's fine. At least give good conversation, make me laugh, do something so that, you want to be part of the group.
Right, because otherwise you're just going, well, I can do this on my own any day. What's the point?
Well, true. I mean, it's really boring to go metal detecting by yourself. For me,
it is.
My first whole year, I was by myself because I didn't know anybody else, and so I just went by myself, and I didn't even think it was boring at the time. I enjoyed it. It was peaceful. I was in the woods. That's actually why I started doing the YouTube videos. You see how I am. I talk a lot. I get excited. And when you're by yourself and you dig something cool, it's hard to be excited because you're all by yourself. There's nobody
right. You want to share it with somebody, but there's nobody
Absolutely.
There.
But if you pull out your phone and you're envisioning, I'm recording this, so I'm going to share it with whoever watches it later, then I was sort of able to be excited about it, even though there was no one there. Someone else, I was sharing it with somebody in the future, if you can follow what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why
somebody's going to see it.
Right, or hopefully they will. And believe me, in the beginning, not many people were saying it. But I mean, it by pulling the camera out enabled me to express myself verbally when I'm a mile deep in the woods with nobody around. Where otherwise, mentally I'm thinking, wow, how cool is this thing I found? But if there's no one there to share it with, it's sort of a buzzkill.
Yeah, I mean, it's still cool, but it's not as cool.
Right, and if I bring it home and show my wife, I mean, she humors me, but I know she can care less. That's fine.
Right, yeah, she's going, yeah, that's nice, now get it off the table.
Right. Like, she pretends, and I get it. If she made something, with a needle and thread, I'd maybe be like, oh, that's great, honey, and, that's just what you do.
Nice. Well, like you said, in the beginning, who knows how many were watching or anything like that. Where did you come up with the name Quarter Hoarder?
Well, that's been a weird one for me. My wife kind of helped me with that because I couldn't really remember. I know that the first coin I ever dug was a bicentennial quarter, and I was all excited. I mean, I knew what one was, just from living life. You find them in your pockets.
Right.
But when you dig it out of the ground, everything is more special when you dig it out of the ground. If you're into this hobby, you just get excited about it because otherwise it was gone forever. You sort of feel like you saved it.
Yeah, that's your find. You worked for it. You earned it.
You're right. And I was real excited when I found it. I showed my wife, and I was embellishing. I was like, oh, they only made this 1 year, even though they made 500 million of them or whatever.
Right.
But I was excited. It was the first coin I ever found. And she may have said, oh, what are you going to be, a quarter hoarder? Or something along those lines. I'm not sure. But I remember when I started creating the channel, that name popped in my head. And I like things that are catchy. So I thought, oh, that's a pretty catchy name. You might not know it's metal detecting, but you probably know that my channel's got something to do with coins or money, or at least I hoard a lot of stuff. So that's just what, that's what I went with. And
nice.
It was tricky to get started, because I didn't have metal detecting in my title. So when I started, on YouTube, it took a long time for anyone to, to figure out who I was. But that's okay. Like I said, I mean, I did meet a lot of people along the way, and I watched other YouTube channels when I started. It kind of motivates you. You sort of see how they do it, and you take little pieces from other channels to kind of make it your channel the way you want it to look. So, I mean, I did that. I sort of used them for motivation and to use other channels to see how I liked what they were doing. And like I said, take pieces from here and there. And then your channel evolves to whatever you want it to be. And then along the line, I got fortunate that people did start watching.
Right.
Not that I'm like Aqua Chigger or anything, but I mean, people watch now where, of course it's more fun when people are actually watching.
Well, yeah, I mean, it lets you know that all the work is just it's not like it's a waste of time or anything, because for those who do YouTube, and I've got a channel much smaller than yours, but I know how much time we can put into. You have to get the footage, then you have to edit the footage. What footage do you want to include in the video? What footage gets left out? So by the time that the viewer, gets to see, say, Quarter Hoarder's newest video up on their screen, and they sit down and they watch that, 20 minutes of video, they don't realize, a lot of people don't realize anyway, how much time and effort went into everything to get that 20 minutes of video for somebody to watch and hopefully be entertained by.
It is a lot of time. I spend a lot of time, and like you said, it's, we go out, especially if there's a large group of us. Last week there was 4 of us, and everyone knows, if they find anything cool or interesting, they call me over. So and I'll get it on video. So when I come home from a day's hunt, I might have 2 hours of video that I have to wean down to 20 minutes or so. So it does. A lot of things get cut out. I try to watch it back in your eyes as a viewer and say, like, well, this is lame. As much as I liked it, I try to make it different. So I try to I try to put the clips in the video that I think are, good finds, but also maybe if something happened that was funny or whatever it was. You know what I mean? It is hard because, with anything you do, this is my art, as lame as that might sound. So it's hard to pick your art apart and cut this out and cut that out because I love all of it. But I know it would drive you crazy if I put a 2-hour video up of us just going around. So I try to put in, things that were different. Maybe I did something very similar last week, and even though I like it, I don't want to put it in this week. And, you have to pick it apart. But that's part of the process. I have to keep it manageable. And my videos, as far as metal detecting videos go, mine are pretty long to begin with. A lot of mine are 20, 25 minutes, which normally includes like a 3-minute wrap-up at the end of everything semi-clean. But, that's a long metal detecting video. And that was a gamble, too. A lot of guys, they want it where the video is just the find. Just show me the find. Don't give me the banter. Don't give me the talk. Just give me the finds. Move to the next one. Keep your video 5 minutes. And I get it. I totally get it. I tried to get some personality in mine. I do talk sometimes, never really long. If the camera faces me, it's usually not more than 20 seconds, just so you're not staring at grass the entire 20-minute video.
Right.
Just to kind of break it up a little bit.
Right, mix it up.
Right, just so your eyes have something different to look at. But I try to keep it moving with mostly finds. But, for me, I just need that break. If I watch 6 clips in a row when I'm editing my video, of 6 clips in a row of a hole, I'm like, oh, man, all these holes are starting to look the same. So I got to mix it up. I show a lot of the property I'm at. Almost every clip after I'm done, I pan the camera up so you can see which side of the house I'm on. Because I want people to sort of live vicariously through me. Like, oh, this is where he is. He's not just in some backyard fooling us. He's really at this mansion. He's really near this, he's really got the homeowner out there. So I try to, every clip, bring it up and show you where I am, just so you can sort of, get a feel for what we're experiencing. Because a lot of people that watch, maybe they want to detect, but maybe they can't afford a detector. Maybe they have, they physically, don't have the capabilities of doing it. Maybe they have bad legs or hips or whatever.
Right.
So I try to give them the experience, not just the finds, but the experience of, the hunt as a whole.
Well, and maybe some of them coming into the hobby hoping to learn something. Maybe they even learned something from the videos as well, going, hey, I watch Quarter Hoarder's videos, and he seems to have really good luck on the backside of properties or on the side yard of properties. That's where I should look if I go out.
Maybe, and people tell me sometimes I'll get a really nice comment. They'll be like, "Oh, I learned so much from your channel," and I always think like, "Wow, if there's one thing my channel is not, it's probably not a good teaching device because I'm not a teacher. If they learn anything, it was coincidental." Because I'm not good at that. I'm not good at explaining things. I sort of, and just in life in general, I just sort of do it. And if you can learn by watching it, then hey, I really got lucky. But I'm not a good teacher. There's a lot of good channels out there you can watch if you want to really learn the machine or learn the VDIs and learn this and learn that. That's not me. I can't teach that because I would talk too much, and you would just tune out if I talk that much. So it's a real weird compliment because that's not my intention. Not that I'm not trying to teach anything, but that's not my strong suit in life. I just sort of do it. And if you can pick something up from me doing it, that's cool.
Right. Well, and I know you do have a lot of followers. I mean, coincidentally enough, a couple of weeks ago, I was out hunting somewhere, and a couple of newcomers to the hobby had stopped me and was asking me questions, and somehow or another, the topic kind of moved to YouTube. And, I'm telling them, oh, yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, and I do a radio show and all that. And the one guy just out of the blue, he says, oh, you watch YouTube? He says, I'll tell you what, there's a guy on there I just love to follow, does a great job on videos. I said, oh, well, who's that? He's, oh, well, he goes by Quarter Hoarder.
That's awesome.
I'm like, really? Well, here's my card. On that card is a link to a radio show. I said, you'll want to check that out because he's a guest at the end of the month. And this guy he was just about tripping over his feet. He's like, really? You know the Quarter Hoarder?
That's the best too. That's sometimes the internet is it's so big, but yet other times it can be so small. You know, some of the guys, like I said, that I detect with, I met because they were just a subscriber that commented and said, hey, you want to get together? And I said, sure. And we went out, and now we're really good friends. And that happens a lot. And, you know, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. You'd have to be a real jerk for me not to get along with you, I think. But it's just incredible how the internet, like I said, it's so large. But when you get together with people, you can really click. I've dug with some people that we never met. We said we'd meet at the dig spot, and I pulled up. The one guy, he even said, like, wow, I thought you'd have a big truck that would say, like, Quarter Hoarder on the side and all this. Like, I was like, what are you talking about, man? I just got done work. I'm the same as you. I just dig holes, you know. Sometimes it's weird. Like, I guess they think that it's bigger than it is, but it's
right,
really
like
not.
you're larger than life or something.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, and I get when I first started my YouTube channel, when I was at like 50 subscribers, I remember there was a channel, and I forget its name now. They had 700 subscribers or 750 subscribers, and I remember thinking, wow, I bet that guy is rich, because I didn't know. I'm thinking like, wow, I bet he could probably call up Garrett, and they would just mail him a free detector because he'll put it in his videos. Like, I didn't know that it doesn't work out that way. That's not what it is at all. Because I guess maybe because I'm older, when I see a video, I associate it with television. So I'm thinking this guy is like a television star. Oh. It's not until I did it where I realized, like, this is a normal guy, you know, just like I am.
Right, the learning along the way. He's doing the same stuff I am.
Yeah. And the younger generation totally gets that because they know whatever's on the internet is just somebody in their house filming it. But I guess because I'm a little older, when to me, YouTube was brand new. I didn't watch YouTube really at all. So when I saw someone on YouTube, I'm thinking, oh, there must be a two-man camera crew following them around, maybe a guy with a boom mic.
They're a star.
Right, like I'm thinking like, or at least I'm thinking like, wow, this is a big production. You know, where once you do it, I realize now, like, it's just a guy out in the field holding a cell phone up to himself or whatever this series is like. So I sort of get it. Like some people, when they watch it, they think that you're a really big deal because, you have, X amount of subscribers or your video has X amount of views. But we're really all just doing the same thing. It's just, and I told the guy, I said, no, I don't have a big fancy truck or anything like that. I just dig holes. Let's go have some fun.
Right, exactly. They all still go to bed at night. They all still put their jeans on one leg at a time. We're normal people doing normal stuff. Well, normal to us.
Well, I'm saying, it's normal. It's, metal detecting is definitely, we are a small subculture. There's very few famous metal detectors, maybe Aquachigger or something like that. But most of us are just regular, everyday people, just going out and doing what we like to do. Right.
Well, and you were mentioning, that maybe, thinking, wow, these people must have a two-man film crew and a boom mic and all of that. For those who might be interested, what do you use for your videos? Like, what is the gear and mounts that you use or the editor that you use?
Yeah, I use 90% of the time I use my cell phone to do the actual recording. About a year ago, I did buy a real fancy camera, and I thought, oh, man, it's going to be so much better now. But I found after 2 trips, this is a pain in the butt. I got to carry more gear. I got to worry about dropping it, getting it dirty. So I went right back to the cell phone. Most cell phones, it will macro in to get really good close-ups of the coins. I made a few contraptions that I use to mount the iPhone. That way it's not shaking all around in my hand. So I did make a few custom things, for myself. But most of it is all done on my phone. I do enhance it a little bit with some, software afterwards if it looks grainy or if it's shaky a little bit. or if I'm in the middle of talking and I sneeze, like I'll edit that stuff out. But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, it's I'm just kind of recording, and if I found it was a good clip, whether it was a good find or something interesting happened or whatever, you're probably seeing it how it came off. That's just how it goes.
Well, you do very good for basically just a guy and a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, keep it simple, stupid. That's the way I tried to do it.
Right.
Like I said, the camera I bought, and also I'm colorblind. So when people have, like when I had this really nice camera that I bought, maybe you would notice that it's so much better color and all that. I can't notice it.
Right, but you're looking at it going, I'm not seeing it.
Right, so I can't tell. Another goofy thing I do is, because I'm colorblind, what takes me the longest on each video is my stupid thumbnail. The thumbnail you see. I probably spend more time on the thumbnail than I do editing the video. Because that thumbnail is, the subscribers that you have and the viewers that you already have, they're probably going to watch, or at least they know who you are. The thumbnail and the title are the only things you have that can get a new person to click on your video. That's it.
That's the first impression.
And that's all you have to go by. Your video could be the greatest in the world. You could have dug 1,000 diamond rings, or you could have found nothing at all. They're never going to know if you don't catch them with your title or your thumbnail. So I spent a lot of time on that, and it might not look like it, but believe me, like if you see a thumbnail picture, it probably was 20 different pictures that I hodgepodge together to make it look like a picture. Because it's tough to come up with a thumbnail that is at least different, and it's hard. I really struggle with that goofy thumbnail, and the title. Like I said, the title. I tell everyone out there that asks me, I say, look, what's the content of your video? Is it metal detecting? Yes, it is. Then make sure the words metal detecting are in your title. Don't call your video, I found this cool thing. Because nobody's going to go to YouTube and bring up the search engine and type in, I found this cool thing. They're going to type in metal detecting. They're going to type in maybe gold ring. You got to sort of think, if you're someone that knows nothing about metal detecting, what might they type in if they were interested in it? So that title and your thumbnail, I think, are really important.
So I take it you put a lot of thought into your tags as well, your keywords.
I do. I utilize the tags a lot, too. I didn't want to get too deep into it because I don't know if everyone has a YouTube channel out there or not. I use the tags. I use every character space for my tags. But, I mean, just for the benefit of if someone that doesn't have a YouTube channel, I try to use that title as effectively as I can. I don't like clickbait. Like, you're not going to see me clickbait me and saying I found a diamond ring and I didn't. Right. But I try to put in words that are words that somebody would actually, perhaps look up. Because it's really important. And it's like that with anything, on the internet. If you get so many titles, if you sell something on eBay, you get 60 characters or whatever, use descriptive words, but use generic words also.
Right. Hit those common search phrases.
Right. You got to catch that person. So, that's what I try to do when I create that title. I'm not creating the title for someone that watches every video anyway. I'm trying to catch it for maybe someone that doesn't know who the heck I am, or maybe doesn't know anything about metal detecting. You're trying to catch that person with your title, with your tags, with a thumbnail. And then when they click on the video, they'll decide whether they want to subscribe or not subscribe or whatever.
That's a very good point. And sometimes, some of the most entertaining parts, it seems like, with many of our videos, it's not necessarily planned at all. It's just happening to be lucky enough to have the camera on at that point in time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why the guys that I go with, I tell them, I say, look, if you find something, call me over. Don't look at it. Don't be inspecting it as I walk over. If you see something, you'll know instantly if it's trash or something at least of interest. I say, look, as soon as you see it, put it right back down again and call me over, because I want to capture your reaction as you're seeing it live. And I try to do the same thing for me. The soon as I see it, if I see it has a shape or a color or whatever, and I know it's going to be something, different, I mount my camera, and then I'll pick it back up and start looking at it essentially live to me. Because if I can capture my natural reaction, it becomes more exciting.
Right.
Where if I look at it for 2-3 minutes, the initial novelty wears off, and then if I set the camera up, I have to try to reenact me finding it again, and I'm not that good of an actor. So I really try to make sure that I'm catching as early as I can, and try to figure out what it is while I'm recording. And if it turns out that it's garbage, all I gotta do is delete that clip. No big deal, and I could go to the next one. But
Right.
I would kick myself if I missed it, because so I do. I record too much. You can always delete it, but you can't get that moment back again.
Exactly. And not too long ago, you had a clip with a chicken.
Yeah, that chicken clip. Did you see that? That was funny.
Now, did you have your camera on a mount at that point, or were you just like holding the cell phone in your hand when this rooster or chicken attacked you?
Well, what I was doing, we were at this farm, and this farm had a whole bunch of chickens just running amok. And I never grew up on a farm, so I was not real comfortable with chickens. But I mean, they weren't coming up real close to me. So I had my camera mounted. I was getting ready to dig a hole, and this one big chicken got, what I would consider in my personal space. Like, he got too close to me.
Yeah,
So
you
I
can
was
say
like-
that.
Like, I didn't know what he was going to do. I didn't know. So I grabbed my camera mount, and I picked it up, and I pointed it at him, because I figured, well, either he's going to walk away or something might happen. So I put the camera, recording the chicken, but at the same time, my camera was between me and the chicken. So if he did jump, that was like my shield. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was recording him, hoping, I was in my mind at the time, I was hoping I would record him walking away so I could just keep going. But he turned and he jumped talons first. He tried to go right for my face, but luckily my phone was blocking and recording, and I sort of captured it. And when I watched it back, I thought, oh man, that is so funny. It wouldn't have been funny if he poked my eyes out, but because I was okay, it was so funny. So I actually led my video off with that clip.
Yeah, see, footage like that, you can't reenact. You have to just get that special moment, so to speak.
You have to, and it's hard when you're doing everything. I'm the digger in my show. I'm the cameraman. I'm the sound guy. I'm everything. So, could I do a little more detecting if I wasn't recording? Sure. But like I said, for me, the hobby is both things together. That's what makes me happy is, like I said, if I went on a detecting hunt all day and didn't record anything, it wouldn't be the same to me because I like sharing it. So I really need both of those things. So I don't mind if I'm recording a little bit and missing out on a little bit of dig time. I dig plenty of things where I'd rather, have some footage so that I can, create, the video, which is, my thing.
Right, like you said, either way, you're still having fun.
I am. I'm having a good time. And that chicken was great. And in fact, I went back to that place with Jocelyn and Drew, and the chicken attacked Drew when we went back, and Jocelyn got that footage in her video. So
Yeah, I saw that. That was classic.
it might have been the same chicken. I don't even know.
It did seem like it. Who knows?
They all look the
but-
same to me. I don't know. I couldn't tell the difference between one and the other. But
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and that happens a lot. I mean, we did a lot of big farms this year, and we've had incidents with pigs and chickens and a cow and different things like that.
Yeah,
And,
just that initial reaction sometimes is that I'm sure gets a number of views, or at least people watching it over again. Like a while back, you had the video where the name escapes me right off the top of my head, but you were lowering him down into what was thought to be a cistern. You know,
it was, yeah. That was a good one for me. Yeah, we were out in the middle of the woods and we saw this big hole in the ground, and I said to Kyle, I said, "Do you still have that tow strap and in your car?" And he said, "Yeah." So we went back and got it. And I said, "Look, I don't know what's down there. I don't know if the walls are going to collapse. I don't know if there's snakes." I said, "Let's detect first, and then when we're done after a few hours," I said, "one of us are going to go down that pit." I said, "I'll go down or you can go down. I don't care, but I want to see what's down there." Didn't know what it was. So yeah, after we detected, we sort of figured it out, and I said, "Look, I'll go down, Kyle, but can you lift me? Are you physically able to lift me back up?" And he said, "I don't think I can." Well, I said, "Well, I know I can lift you back up." I said, "Are you comfortable with going down there?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll go down." And he went down there. I mean, it turned out what was down there was nothing. But, it was either a cistern or some sort of I don't even know what it was. I'm thinking it was a cistern. But we went down there and checked it out, and it might seem like, oh, well, what a waste of time. But, when you're out in the middle of the woods, away from everybody, you see a hole in the ground, and you actually go down there where there's no one around to help you. At the time when we were out there, it was exciting. It was mysterious. So even though we didn't find, a treasure chest of gold down there, I tried to record it as we did it. So if you were out there, you would, like I said, live vicariously through us. Oh, I wouldn't go down there. Oh,
yeah, you'd find out as soon as we did.
Right, and that's what I tried to relay. And that's why I didn't put any clickbait, like, oh, we found a treasure chest at the bottom of this hole. I just said, hey, we found a hole. We went down the hole. And, that was a good video for me. When I say good, I had a lot of views on that video. And I did have a couple of good finds that day when we were detecting before the hole. So, I still got my detecting in. But, yeah, it made for a good clip. And, I still get comments on that every day and views. A lot of channels, you'll get a couple videos or one video that just does really well, and it lives on for a long, long time. I mean, I have some videos that are 2 years old now that I still get like almost 1,000 views a day on, and they're 2 years old because some of them are just linger. That's the weird part of the internet. You never know, and it's not like they were good videos either. You just, you just don't know sometimes.
Right, absolutely, and you never know who's watching and who else is sharing it around.
Absolutely, yeah, that's just part of it. I said with enough videos out there, everyone's going to have a couple that do really well for whatever reason. I don't even think that what you find necessarily matters. Sometimes just catches on. Maybe it was a good thumbnail or a title, or maybe YouTube just grabbed it and, throws it on their, the main search results. Who knows? If there is a formula, I don't know it. I just keep chugging along because I enjoy doing it. And, if the viewers watch, that's great. It makes it even better. But I'm not always looking for them. And when I say that, I mean, like, my videos, I never ask anyone to share. I don't ask anyone to comment. I don't ask them to subscribe. I don't do any of that stuff, which is probably backwards. I probably should. But I guess in my mind, I still do it where I like putting these videos out. If you like it, you'll watch. If you like the content, you'll subscribe. If you feel so compelled to share, you'll share. Me telling you to do it isn't going to do anything. So I try to keep it very intrinsic in that way, where I never ask anyone to do those things. If I get a new subscriber, it was because they wanted to. And I kind of like that because it makes it more genuine for me.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely. Well, it's worked out well for you so far, and obviously, regardless of how it goes, you just continue to do your thing and have fun at it, and that's the important part. We've seen in many of your videos, you really make some nice finds that you're like, oh wow, I can't believe this. This is so cool. So we know your favorite find changes quite a bit. Has it changed again?
It does. It changes a lot. I mean, I have a bunch of display cases in my house where my best finds are, but and maybe it's my personality is I'll have a find that I just love, and I'll tell everybody about it. But if I go out the next week and find something that's cool, it's kind of like the last best find. I'm like, oh, that old thing? Look at this new thing I found. So it does. I have no allegiance to my finds. I mean, I have a bunch of favorites, but I don't have a single favorite find that I always tell when someone asks me what my favorite find is. It really does change because whatever's newest is like the most interesting to me.
Yeah, because like tonight it could be one thing, but come Sunday night, who knows? It's something entirely different.
It could be, yeah. I mean, so I don't have a favorite find out of all the finds I have. And I guess that's why I don't mind giving things to the homeowners, because I know that, if I get a few pictures of it, I get a cleaned up shot for the video, how much stuff do I really need? I'm not really a hoarder, even though it's my name. I try to keep my collection, fairly clean because, my wife, will only let me have so much stuff in the house. And what's the point if I dig all this cool stuff and it sits in boxes in my garage? I might as well have left it in the ground. So if I find something the homeowner really likes, or if it has initials on it that maybe was, someone from an old homeowner there, I try to give it to him because it would mean more to him than it would to me, especially 2 weeks from now when I already found the next thing and the next thing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And we know that it seems like, anyway, with a number of your videos, you use a few different machines.
Well, I have a few different machines, but most of the time it's my AT Pro.
That seems to be your go-to machine.
Now, this weekend is going to be a first for me. I bought the Equinox maybe 4 months ago. And I probably bought it because of all the hype. Everybody was talking about it. You got to get one, you got to get one. One was available online, and so I bought it. And but since I bought it, I mean, if I have 20 minutes on it, I'd say it's a lot. I bring it out back for 5-10 minutes on a little test garden. But when it comes, when push comes to shove, and I'm going to a virgin 1700s house, I grab that Pro, and mostly because I'm comfortable with it. Regardless of whether the Equinox is better or the CTX is better, I want to go with the machine that I'm the most comfortable with. That way, at least I feel like if I miss something, I did the best I could because that's the machine I know the best.
Well, yeah, I mean, it stands to reason you're going to use what you are more familiar with and what you know better.
Sure. And if you came behind me with a CTX or an E-Track or something of some really high-end machine and you found all these silver coins going right behind me, I wouldn't be upset. I'd say, well, I did the best I could with the machine I'm comfortable with. I'm glad you got it.
Right. You should have called me over so I could get it on video.
That's a given.
Right.
But this weekend will be the first time I ever go out to a house and I'm bringing the Equinox and I'm going to use it. Because I want to be comfortable with more than one machine. Because my Garrett, I love my Garrett, but it's got a crack in the screen. I got to send it in to Garrett to get it repaired. So I want to be comfortable enough with that Equinox that if my main machine is gone for a couple of weeks, I'm not totally dead in the water and like an amateur. So
right. How am I going to do that video every week like that?
Right. Like everything else, I have 2 pinpointers. I've got 3 shovels. I got everything else, but I had one detector that I know. My other detectors, I don't really know them that well. So I'm forcing myself this weekend to bring it out. If whoever I'm going with this weekend, I know it's me and Doug. I don't know who else is going yet. If they find a gazillion things and I only find 3, then hey, that's growing pains. That's fine. I'll just record their cool finds. But I need to, I just need to force myself to do it. And Drew, Jocelyn's boyfriend, Drew, kind of pushed me too. He's like, look, when are you going to ever know it?
Right, you're not going to learn it if you don't get it out and mess with it.
Right, and I've seen other guys' videos, so I sort of know how it works in theory. But until you're out there swinging it and listening to it, you don't really know it. You can only learn a machine by doing it, to really learn it.
Absolutely. I mean, test gardens are great and all, but I'm one of those people that nothing beats real in-field experience.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the test garden is just so I at least be familiar with the sounds and the tones, but I don't put any credence into it. When something's been sitting in the ground for 100 years, it's going to sound different than if it's been sitting in the ground for 20 minutes.
Absolutely.
So you got to get out there and swing it, and if you have a few bad hunts because you don't know it, that's part of the game. But you're going to know it. There'll be more houses. So I'm going to roll the dice, and if I don't have a ton of finds, so be it. Hopefully the other guys will.
Right. Well, and, maybe the next time out after that you might. Obviously, the more time under the belt with it, the better you're going to be with it, the more familiar you're going to be with it.
Absolutely. Yep, baby steps. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try it out. Hopefully, at least I'll find a couple things. If I just dig a bunch of trash all day, at least you won't see that in the video.
Well, there you go. And
I'll spare you.
If I remember right from the way it sounded earlier in the show, we can expect to see the video with the Equinox here in about a month or so.
Probably 3. I think I'm up to, I don't know what today's date is. I think I have videos for the next 3 weeks, either done or at least they're filmed. So yeah, you probably won't see it for three or 4 weeks. But that's good. The funny thing too is because I put the videos out, because I'm ahead of the game, which I need to be for my own sanity. When the video is about to hit, I watch it the night before, because I'm going to get a bunch of comments the next day, and I forget what happened a month ago. I might remember some of the finds, but I forget like maybe little jokes that happened or little things. And when you comment, because it's new to you and it's new to everybody, that is a viewer, I dug that almost a month ago.
Yeah, so you're kind of going, what are they talking about?
Right. So I watch it. I have to watch it front and back the night before. That way it's fresh in my mind. That way I can, be comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah.
I see some not to cut you off, I see some really good names in the chat. I just want to tell everybody thanks. I really appreciate it coming in. A lot of people I see on Facebook a lot. Steve, I don't know how to pronounce Steve's last name.
That would be Steve Zazulik.
Zazulik. I was going to say Zazulik.
I can pronounce that one just fine. That's my buddy Steve up in Canada there.
Well, Steve's a good guy. I follow him on Facebook.
Yes, he is.
I would love to do some of the water hunting. We were going to try to do it this year. It probably won't happen, but next year. But everybody, Ohio Relic Hunter, Becky, I saw Chris Heimsoth, Mark Hoover, Ken Guthrie, Bill, everybody. I just want to say, I appreciate you guys stopping in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you can still follow the chat there. Mine has locked up some time ago.
I'm fine. I didn't want to type it because then I want to not pay attention to you. But I do appreciate you stopping over.
Oh, you mean as animated as you are, you don't multitask very well?
I do, but I thought if I was typing and you saw it, it would be rude. So I'm purposely not typing, but I do appreciate everybody. I didn't know you couldn't see the chat.
Oh, I see. Well, I can turn on the other screen here, I guess. But I know it was asked to you on one of the previous shows that you've been on that, where do you see yourself going from here? Do you think you're going to continue with this for quite some time or something? And I thought, well, that's a really interesting answer that you gave, because you were just like, well, I'm going to do it as long as I have fun with it, as long as I keep having fun with it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And I don't want to make this like I'm being pretentious or anything, but I've turned down a couple of detecting-related sponsorships because I didn't want to be tied down. I didn't want it to be a job. And when you're sponsored, you almost have to go out and make the video, get your sponsor's name in there. And I don't want to be tied down.
Right. Now it seems like work.
Right. It does. It becomes, even if it's a slight in the back of your mind, I don't want it to be like that. So I do try to keep it fun. I think it was Ed's show I was telling you about it. I shot pool, like pocket billiards.
Oh, yeah, I used to be a pool player.
Oh, I played for probably 10, 15 years, 3-4 nights a week. I was really good. I would travel the tri-state area as like I don't want to say professional, but almost professional, where I would be in big tournaments. I got my name in a couple of the pool magazines. I was really good. And one day I woke up and I just didn't want to play anymore. And I didn't play. I stopped playing for almost 5 years. I just started playing a few weeks ago, coincidentally.
Oh, wow.
But I try to think, what if I woke up tomorrow and didn't enjoy metal detecting for whatever reason? It's possible, only because I lived it with my last hobby. So I don't want to have any sponsors. I don't want to have any overhead. It would be really weird that this channel that I've dedicated so much time to, if I did just not like it anymore, like that would be really awkward. But I try to make it where it's just fun. I don't use this as a job or anything like that. The channel makes a little bit of money off of the ads. Believe me, it's not a lot of money, but it makes a little bit. But that's the only thing that I really profit from this channel. But I don't want that overhead of anything like that. I want it to be fun because that's what makes the videos fun. At least what I'm trying to put out there is fun. But everyone's different. Like I said, you might have sponsors on your show and you're okay with it. I know my personality, and I'd feel pressure and I'd feel stressed to up my game or change something. And I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a natural, fun show, detecting, friends, knocking on doors, seeing new places every week, meeting people along the way, detecting with the kids and the homeowners and all that stuff. And I like it. And that is really enjoyable for me. So I don't want that to deviate too much from that path that I'm on now.
Right, like we said earlier in the show, we, you took the vacation to get some videos in the can, so to speak. That way, the pressure of the editing was off, and the deadlines and all of that. Now it's just fun.
Yeah, and that was the best thing I could have did because I was burning out, and I really was debating on, maybe I'm going to take a 6-month break. I'm burning out. The pressure of digging on Sunday and then having to edit everything to have it done and ready by Wednesday night, it was getting to the point where it wasn't enjoyable for me, especially if Sunday's hunt wasn't that good. If I didn't find anything or nothing was funny or, whatever, or if it rained and we got a short hunt, then there's all this pressure like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And right. I didn't want the channel to consume me like that. So, taking that week off really did help. And so far, I really do enjoy it. It's just a fun thing. When you think about something day and night, you love it. When I dug with Plugmaster Ford a week or two ago, that was our family vacation. Me and the family, all of us went down to Missouri, and my wife, she knows how I am. I said, look, hon, I got friends down there that I've met online, and she knows who they are because I've been talking to Jeff for years now on the phone and whatnot. I said, would you mind if I go out for half a day and dig with some friends? And my wife was totally cool about it. God bless her.
Very cool.
So I did. And my wife is a saint. It's hard. Like I said, during the week, I work all day. I coach both my kids. I don't see her a lot. I only get to 2 days in the weekends, and one day I'm gone from basically sun up to sundown. I'm gone. And that's why on Sunday I try to do nothing. I try to clean my finds. I try not to do any editing. I try to make that, family day because it's a balance. But because I'm ahead of videos, I can work on it Monday and Tuesday because I know that I already have that week's video out and the video after that.
Yeah, exactly. Fit it in here and there.
Right. It's not. There's no pressure. If I get it done a little bit over the course of the week and it's done by the following Friday, I'm still good. I've got lots of buffer room there. So it really eased the burden and lets me have more fun.
Nice. Well, I know we've kept you on for quite some time, and man, it's just been really tough dragging these answers out of you. You should talk a little more. No.
I don't know if you have a normal show deadline you go to. You
No,
just cut me off and I'll shut up.
No, not really. We don't. But I know we have kept you on for quite some time and everything. And I'm sure maybe you've got some editing. Or, well, I know before the show we were talking, I know you've at least got a pair of headphones you'd like to get ordered. But before you go, maybe any words of wisdom to newcomers in the hobby? Something that maybe you struggled with that maybe you can bestow a little bit of wisdom on them to make it easier for them, and also where people can find you if you'd like to be found.
Yeah, I always tell people, try to have fun with it. Don't be afraid to go knock on a stranger's door. You'll meet some great people that way. If you're afraid of a stranger, go talk to a pastor like I did after church. Pastors, by default, are friendly people. That's part of their job. You're never going to meet a mean, angry pastor.
Right,
Go
they kind
talk
of have
them.
to be nice to you.
That's part of the job, right. And most towns are going to have an older church. You know, churches have been around forever. So when
Absolutely.
your town was founded, there was probably a post office, there was probably a church. Go start with that and see what works for you. Because there's nothing worse than buying your machine, being all excited, and after you do your house and your local park, if you can even do your local park, laws are changing all over the place now, you're going to run out of places to go, and then you're not going to do it. Give yourself a chance, take yourself out of your comfort zone, and go knock on that door, and you might just be surprised at the answer you get. And then it really opens up the hobby for you, because if you're at different places every week or even every once in a while, or have a go-to spot that you can, play around with whenever you want, it makes the hobby so much more fun, and you'll really enjoy it. So give yourself a chance, come out of your comfort zone, and you might even meet some friends along the way.
Yeah, or, if you can't do it yourself, find a quarter hoarder in your area and have them do it for you.
I'm sure there are. Yeah, most places have clubs. I know my area has a detecting club, a physical club you can go to once a month or whatever. Get involved with them, and they'll teach you the way. They'll show you what to do. So it helps, and you're going to meet some great people. The detecting community is really good. Is online, especially too. The forums, the YouTube, the Facebook groups. Most people are very helpful. Very few people are jerks out there. So, there's a lot of people you can jump in and learn this hobby quicker than the old school guys who might not have had that same, help that's available to us.
Oh, absolutely. The newcomers gain ground so much faster compared to what it used to be.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably a newer comer compared to you. I heard you on Maddie's show. Said you've been doing this for 25 years or so.
I've been doing this a minute.
You've been doing it a long time, so you probably, I'm sure there wasn't even an internet back then. I'm not trying to age you. there was no internet back then. I mean, so it's, you have to learn it by yourself or get lucky and find someone in your immediate area.
Yeah.
Newcomers
absolutely.
have a whole lot at their disposal, so utilize it.
Yeah, and there are still a few of them out there that think my social security number's like 3.
Hey, that's okay. Imagine how much money's accrued if your social security number is 3.
Right. So, where can people find you if they'd like to?
Well, I mean, your best bet is my YouTube channel, Quarter Hoarder. I try to respond to everybody on there. You can find me on the Facebook. I'm not on there as much on my Quarter Hoarder, but I do. I started also using that Instagram, which I'm not real good with. If you comment to me on there, I probably won't even know how to see it, but I put up a lot of I'm trying.
Right. It's a work in progress.
It is. It's definitely not my first go-to thing, but some people like the stills. So I try to put up cleaned up stills, and I use my Facebook and that Instagram for that. Because when you dig something up, maybe when the video hit, it wasn't all the way clean, and then I get to cleaning it, later, and I put a little picture of it up.
Now,
things like that.
Is that all under the same spelling of Quarter Hoarder?
Yeah, on Facebook, I'm Quarter Hoarder. I think I'm Quarter Hoarder. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to look it up now. I thought I might be. Yeah, I am.
You are.
That shows how much I use it. Yeah, on Facebook, I'm Quarter Hoarder. Or you can look me up by my name. You can see the name up here, Jason Bazuffi. I was talking to Josh a little bit before the show where, I used to keep them separate. But now I don't care. You know, my Facebook, my Jason name pretty much became my quarter hoarder page. So, you know, you're welcome to come over there. I accept almost everybody unless I click on your profile and it's just like a half-naked woman, then I delete that. But if you look like you're a regular, you know, living person, sure, hey, welcome. I like meeting new people.
Right. Right, absolutely. Well, you have certainly been a pleasure to speak with tonight, and we thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us. An absolute blast.
I appreciate you having me on. I think is yours the longest running metal detecting show that's out there?
Well, I've heard that rumor.
I think you might be. I remember seeing someone on your show like 3 or 4 years ago. So I think you are the longest. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you for having me on the longest running show of all metal detecting shows. And if you're not, you are to me.
Well, we'll at least go with one of the longest, I guess. I've been out there a while. I've heard that rumor too, but you know, we appreciate everyone that tunes in when they do tune in and everything, and we certainly appreciate you for sitting down and taking the time with us tonight. I know we've had you tied up for a while. The next time you get out hunting again with Jocelyn and Drew, make sure to tell them we said hello. We're waving a hand to hear from Ohio.
I certainly will. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. A good time, and thanks for everyone in the chat for putting up with me talking so much.
Oh, it was definitely not a disappointment. Very good show, and great to sit down and actually talk with you for a while. You've been an absolute pleasure of a guest. Hang in there with me for a minute. We'll roll the music and get out of here.
I sure will. Thanks again.
All right. So, for those in the chat, obviously that was Quarter Hoarder, and whether you were live or checking in from one of the archives here on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeart, maybe even through the Beyond Sight and Sound page or one of the many wonderful groups out there, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to tune in tonight and listen to what Jason had to share with everybody. He was definitely a pleasure, had some great stories, and we really enjoyed it. If you all enjoyed it, make sure and throw us a like here on Spreaker. You can follow us on Facebook and the many wonderful groups out there. Join us on one of them, all of them, or none of them. The choice is entirely up to you. But until the next one, we've got to roll. Have a wonderful evening, folks. We'll see you on the next one.